The fact that I'm even sitting here attempting to film a video about balance is pretty ironic because, you guys, I have been struggling to find balance basically for the last year. It has been, as you know, because I've talked about it a million times, it has been a hard year. And my friend Abby and I decided that we wanted to kind of talk about have some really kind of like heart to hearts with you guys, because there's certain things that moms don't really talk about that much. So Abby from Full-Time Wife Life and I are going to be talking about balance this week. And as a mom of 5 kids who is incredibly busy, who has kids with differing needs and health issues and learning disabilities and all kinds of different things, finding balance is really, really difficult for me. On top of that, we don't live near any family and we constantly have visitors coming and going, which we love, but it obviously kind of throws off that balance. We don't have a very good rhythm or structure to our year. And then also my husband travels a lot for work. So combining all of those different factors can really just make finding any type of balance or routine or schedule very, very difficult. So I'm going to talk about that today with you guys, and let me know in the comments below how you try to find balance in your own life. I would love to hear what you guys do, what your life is like. I would love to get to know you a little bit better in the comments. So please make sure you comment at the end of this video. So first of all, balance. What is balance? How do you even find balance? And for me, balance is just basically reaching a point at which I feel like I am kind of hitting all of the different parts of my life evenly in a way that allows me to have time to myself, that gives me time to basically recharge. As an introverted mom of many children, very noisy, busy, active children, I need, for my own sanity, to have time to myself. If I don't have time to myself, I basically feel like a crazy person. I'm not even exaggerating. I basically feel like a crazy person. And so if I do not have balance in my life, the first thing, every single time, the first thing that goes is me time. It's time for me to recharge, time for me to just be able to feel like a human again. And I have found that over the last few years, when I allow that to happen, when I try to balance out everything else and I forget about myself, then all those other things that I thought were balanced kind of fall apart as well. The other thing that tends to kind of go to the sideline is my husband, spending time with him, because he works very long hours. He travels frequently for his work. He travels for like very long trips is now kind of his new thing that's going to be happening here. And so I have to prioritize spending time with my husband. And because we have children who are ages 5 through almost 14 now, our teenagers, they just don't go to bed as early anymore, and they want to hang out and they want to chat at night, especially my oldest son, who is an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert. I'm sorry. He's not an extrovert. He is an introvert. And so when all the other kids are home and everyone's noisy and busy, he kind of likes to keep to himself, probably about half of the time. The other half of the time, he's kind of right in there with them. But in the evenings, or not even evenings, but like after 9 o'clock is when he wants to hang out and be social. And so it's kind of that same time where my day is ending and slowing down is the time when he wants to hang out. So that's another new thing that I'm trying to balance, as well as, balancing that time with my husband, because that's the only time I get with my husband during the weeks or even on the weekends, because our weekends are super busy. So I need to find time for myself. I need to find time for my husband. And now I also need to find time for my teenage children who want kind of attention later in the day. So those are the things that are becoming, for me now at this stage of my life, are becoming the priorities. I have to make sure that if I'm trying to find any type of balance in my own life, that those have to be in there, because those are the 3 things that will just be pushed to the sideline, and I will not take care of those things. And that's not okay, because that's people. That's investing in people. That's the most important thing, besides our faith. And so if I am not making time for those things, then I'm failing at life, basically. So how do I find balance? I have no idea. I probably shouldn't be making a video about balance if I have no idea. Now, it's not that I don't have any idea at all. It's that life changes daily. I mean, honestly, because we have so many kids with so many differing needs, that it really does feel like life changes almost daily. I have always said, as soon as you think you have your kid figured out, they're going to do a 180 and completely change on you. As soon as you think they have like a sleeping pattern, then they're going to go through a growth spurt and need to nurse all night. Or as soon as they are in an easier stage, they're going to leave that stage, very quickly and move on to a more difficult stage. And that's just kind of how it goes. And, those are for the younger years. As they get older, it's even more so when you start dealing with teenagers and hormones and all of those kinds of things. So as soon as you think you have your kid figured out, you find that you don't. And so when you multiply that by 5, that's why I feel like things just constantly change. Their needs change. The activities that they're involved in change. And that is cyclical as well because, they do soccer in the fall and the spring, but they do swim team in the summer. And then sometimes we've done sports in the winter, although I don't know that we're going to do those again anytime soon. All right. So I was in the middle of filming and a repairman came to the door and I had to take care of that. So yeah, that's life. That's life. Even trying to find time to film a video is hard, because there's just things that come up. And I have found that things constantly come up. And I saw someone share recently, the organized homeschooler is actually her name. And I can link to her down below because she's awesome. But she shared something about how adulthood is, I'm not going to be able to quote it right, but how adulthood is constantly saying next week frees up or something like that. And how you're constantly thinking that next week is going to be free and more open. And then, sorry, my dog is barking. Yeah, it's just one thing after another. It never really does free up. And I find that we never really do have a calm season. That's very rare. There's just always something going on. So if you can relate to that feeling, click that like button and let me know that you understand where I'm coming from because I always think when is it going to calm down? And I think I just need to basically accept the fact that it's not going to calm down and that life is always going to be crazy. Finding balance is really hard. Finding balance kind of has to mean something different to everyone because we are all going to have the things that are most important to us in our lives and they're not going to be the same as, what is important in other people's lives. So like I said, for me, the 3 important things that I have to make a concerted effort to actually include in my balance sheet, I don't know, would be time for myself, time with my husband, and time with my older kids. Because my younger kids are the ones who want my attention all day long and they get it. And so that's kind of just a non-issue. So balancing life and homeschool has been something that I have not been able to figure out. And I feel like I am only just now finally figuring out because I have always had a very hard time determining how to kind of incorporate. Can you see? There's feet over there. Someone is here. Okay, I'm back. I think this is just so real life. I don't know why I think I should be able to do things like this when I have 5 kids in the house who need me, but I'm trying. Okay, so what I was trying to say was that we basically all need to figure out what balance means to us. And so for me, figuring out that homeschool balance, because one of the things that makes it really hard for me is, like I said, we always have visitors. We always have people coming and going. The majority of the time, it's my parents and my husband's parents, but we also have other people that come and visit and come and stay with us. And that really throws off everything. And for years and years and years, I have always just paused homeschool whenever we have visitors. But now that our kids go to a hybrid homeschool, that's not an option anymore. And so we've had to kind of rethink how to do all of that. And it's actually been really good for me personally. I wish I had figured this out years ago. And maybe I would have given myself more sanity back in those crazy days. But we just have to do it now. It's not a choice. And so I have tried to think about homeschool as my job, as what I do. And that during the hours of, honestly, from the moment I wake up until probably 3 o'clock, sometimes later, my priority and my job is to homeschool my children. And so I try not to answer the phone. I stay off social media. I do like to post on Instagram because I enjoy that personally. I like having that record. And so I personally like to post on Instagram, but I don't try to let it distract me from what I'm doing. There are times when kind of the kids are all occupied or I'm just there, helping them through a worksheet and they just need my help every once in a while, that type of thing where I'll go on social media. But I try very hard to kind of stay off it as much as I can and make homeschooling them my priority. Now, when things come up like needing repairs in your house or having repair men in your house, you really can't do anything about those distractions. But I used to let those derail me from my homeschool and I wasn't able to balance normal life disruptions with homeschooling. I just always felt like And I know I've talked about this before, but I always kind of put homeschool in this box. And like, we had to do it during these certain hours of the day, and we had to do this, and that. And I have become a lot more relaxed, although I wouldn't call myself a relaxed homeschooler because that's not my personality, but I have become more relaxed. And so if there is a day where we have stuff going on and we have to do homeschool later in the day, then we just do that. And that for me is finding balance. It is allowing myself to kind of free for all it if I have to, do what works best for us. And then I'm able to kind of balance in all the other things as they need to be. So balance is not some type of like rigid structure where I do half hour of this, a half hour of that, an hour of that, and I kind of make it all fit into the 24 hours in a day. That's not balance for me. And maybe that works well for some people to have like a rigid schedule. That would drive me crazy right now at this stage of my life. I just could not make that work. So for me, seeing what the priorities are, and if we're going back to my list, so it's kind of like my day-to-day week, homeschool is the only priority that we have during the day. That is the priority. If we have to mix other things in, then we do. But, from let's say 7 to 3, like that is what we do. We do that the best that we can. And then all the other things have to fit in the other, leftover hours of the day. And so one of the things, going back to finding balance for myself, one of the things that I've been doing is just talking to my husband and saying, I need alone time. I need to be able to just have my own quiet time to do whatever I want to do, whether that is cleaning the kitchen or getting a job done around the house or watching Gilmore Girls or whatever it is. I need that time for myself. And since I don't do a good job prioritizing that, I am kind of forcing myself to find that balance. That, like, for me, I have to say to my husband, tonight, I'm going to just hang out with myself for a while because I know that my reserves are, dwindling at that point. And if I do not recharge myself, then the next day I will not be at my best for my children or for him. And so I have made a concerted effort over the past, probably year and a half to actually just say, like, I need alone time. Like, either take the kids out of the house, go do something with them, or I'm just going to kind of stay up late and do my own thing tonight. And that has been really, really good because he works such long hours a lot of the time. And because he travels, we do have, more limited time together than maybe someone whose spouse just worked like a 9-to-5 job who was always home, who doesn't travel. We have different needs. And so I have to make an effort to talk through that with him and say, this is what I need and this is what we need to do to make it happen. And he's amazing, and he doesn't bat an eye and just is like, yep, I'll do that. I'm gonna take the kids out. Like, I'm gonna go do this thing, or I'm gonna, you do whatever you want. I'll put the kids to bed. And that's how we make it work for us. So obviously for me, balance has a lot to do with my own energy level, or I don't really know how to say it, but like, if I don't take care of myself, I can't find balance anywhere else because I am going to be searching for my own like moments to recharge in the middle of all the other things. And that, like, you just can't find balance in that way because your day is just kind of like all over the place. And that's the way it's been for so long for me. And I have found that being able to kind of prioritize and see the things that are most important to me, and obviously putting those first, has helped me to find balance. But as far as life and a schedule and planning, I do not feel like I don't even know how to have balance in that area of my life, because that is my life. How to find balance in the general life that we live. I don't know how to find that because I feel like everything changes constantly. And so as long as I can prioritize that we homeschool during certain hours, I make time for myself, I make time for my husband, I make time for my children. And then obviously I also make time for friends and friendships. And I do, try to mix that in. I'm not the best at it because we're really, really busy and the kids are involved in lots of extracurricular things. And it just takes up time. And I am very happy if I can get one day or night or whatever, lunch or dinner out with friends a month. That's awesome. More than that would be great. But I just think it's kind of the stage of life we're in right now, and I'm okay with that. My husband and I do try to take time now that our kids are older. Our son's almost 14, our daughter's 12. Like, we are okay with leaving them for a little while so that we can go out and grab dinner or whatever, just go to the store together, just the two of us. So that's been great to be able to kind of have that extra bit of time together. Because I think part of finding balance is honestly finding those pockets of time to invest in people. Because when you have 5 children who are busy, finding any sense of like a predictable way that your life is going to go is impossible. And you do just kind of have to like ride the waves of the routine and the schedule as much as possible and make things work. I feel like I am all over the place in this video, and maybe that is just a testament to my life right now. And that I do not think I can find any type of perfect structure or routine type of thing in my life. And so for me, just finding balance means making time for the things that are important. I hope that made sense. I am sure Abby has done a much better job of doing this video than I have, because I just feel like I am just not in a place where I am an expert on this. And maybe this video is just there to encourage you guys and let you know that motherhood and life is crazy sometimes, and sometimes finding balance feels nearly impossible. And as long as you can find the things that need to be the priorities in your life, and you can make sure you've set aside time for those things, then maybe that's the best that you can do to find balance. But I think an important thing to take away is that you need to find those things that are important for you. Like, what are the most important things that you want to have time for every day or every week or even every month? Because other things that are important to us are our faith, and we just have that time set aside, and it's almost like a non-negotiable. Like, that's what we do. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I've ever had to try to like make time for church, because we just go. And if there's a feast day, we go. And, it's just what we do. And so it's kind of come that way, with homeschool and with soccer and with swim team and with whatever. Like, we just do it because we do it. And we make time for it, and we can balance our life around that. So I think the way that we treat those types of things, we should also treat the people that are important in our lives, including ourselves. So if that means literally scheduling yourself alone time, then you should do it. And I think that's kind of like my takeaway for you guys. Like, we are able to set aside time for appointments and things that we do. We should also be setting aside time for people that we love, including ourselves. I think that's basically what I wanted to say as far as balance is concerned. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this topic. Please, let's start talking in the comments. I would love to know what you guys do to kind of find a sense of balance. What are the priorities in your life that are kind of non-negotiables, and how you balance all of that. So make sure you go and check out Abby's video. I will have her channel linked to in the description box down below for you guys. Go check her out. She's awesome. And we're going to have another video coming out in the future. So be looking for that as well. And thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys just taking this time to kind of hang out with me, chat with me. And I hope you have a really great day.